YouTube. Nicole from Canadian Regis here again. So I just finished cleaning the rats and feeding all the snakes, and I figured I'd give you a little tour of my rat room. On top of that, I have a few girls that I have recently laid, getting kind of close to the end of my laying season and the beginning of the hatching season. I can't wait to get into that. But for now, let's start with the girls that have laid and finish off with that rat room tour. Let's get started. First up, we have this cinnamon girl, Athena. She gave me 9, I believe, last season, so curious what she gave me this season. They look really big, honestly. So again, she's a cinnamon female, and she's been bred to the bamboo black pastel male. So hoping for some 8 balls and some bamboo 8 balls. One of my favorite things to hatch out, honestly. Here they are. Not too bad at all. Looks like 7 nice, big, healthy eggs. It is a bit bright in here, but I should still be able to tell. Oh yeah. Yep, they look good. Into the incubator they go. Here's another that just laid. She's actually 3 days early. It is June 10th right now. A female pastel pied that I produced a few years ago. So this is her first clutch. Pretty excited about this one. This is going to be a Who's Your Daddy clutch. So again, pastel pied, and early season I bred her to an orange dream yellow belly pinstripe het pied male, and I got 1 or 2 locks late season right before she ovulated to a blackhead Mojave leopard pied. So pretty excited to see what comes out of this clutch. She's really, really pretty. I really like pastel in pieds. Looks like she's laid 5 eggs. They look pretty good. Nice, good size. Can't ask for much more for a first timer. Really proud of her. Let's see how she is with letting me take her off her eggs. Oh, pretty good. Gorgeous. Here's Mama after taking her off the eggs and weighing her. So she's 1,500 grams after laying. Pretty good weight. Time to get her beefed up and ready for next season. Thinking about putting the Desert Ghost pied to her just to make some pied, pastel pied het Desert Ghost for the future. Build up that army. Here we have our last girl for this video. Het red axanthic orange dream yellow belly. She's actually 6 days early, but let's see what she gave us. Oh, we got 1 pushed out there. She's so pretty. But again, orange dream yellow belly het red. She was bred to a leopard phantom freeway. Pretty excited about this pairing. I'm hoping to recreate some of what they made last season. One of which is this girl right here. Look at her. So this is a orange dream leopard het red freeway female. Holdback from last season from the same parents. Definitely hope to recreate that. Such a stunning animal. Looks like a good pile. Here they are, 8 beautiful eggs. Fingers crossed they're all good. Perfect. I can't wait for this one. See him in 2 months. Okay, time for this rat room tour. So this building is half of a converted 2-car garage. I was really lucky when I moved into this house that this was already pretty much done. Already insulated, the flooring was done, painted, all that. So I've kind of just worked with what I was given. The room's not finished. I don't know if I ever really plan on finishing it because it does the job pretty well. But this used to be like a bar here. We ripped that out, added a door, so the other side of the garage is the workshop. Really enjoy this space. I think it was definitely a blessing that this was already done when we came in here. So I'll get started. There's the door, obviously. So electrical panel, This has been installed, it's basically a filtration system, so you can turn it on manually and you can hear the fans go. Otherwise, it is set to go off for a half hour every 3 hours, and I do think that really helps get the stink, extra dust, everything out of here. This is where I keep bedding and food. I use pine bedding, and then just Purina rat chow. Over here are some larger holding bins. I use this to transport my rats that I'm going to be feeding off into the reptile rooms. My storage area, just extra tubs. That was an ASF rack that I made. Don't breed them anymore. I used to breed them to get stubborn hatchlings to feed, but I've been pretty lucky so far not needing that. But we'll see. Extra tubs, some cleaning supplies. So here's my CO2 chamber. I got this, I think it's a 25-pound tank from my local firehouse, and I got this regulator from Princess Auto, some tubing, just a bin from Canadian Tire. Really simple setup. Glad I went this route. Definitely a life changer when you're needing to freeze a lot of rats, that's for sure. Little workbench, extra tubs, more extra tubs. This is where I keep the food and bedding so I can use it easily. This is just a little plywood barricade, as I do like to keep the window open pretty much all the time, even in the winter. So this is just to prevent them from getting that draft. Okay, on to the rats. So to clean this entire setup usually only takes about 3 hours a week. I clean once a week, sort them, and then periodically throughout the week, probably another few hours just to make sure the food and water is topped up and make sure everyone's doing okay. So my method is I use these big mortar tubs from your local hardware store as breeding tubs. I put 1 male to 5 females. I like that ratio. I know a lot of people do more, but I just feel like it does crowd it a little bit too much. But this seems good for me. It seems to work out. So when I clean, I'll pick out the pregnant females and put them into these maternity tubs. They're just kitty litter bins from local Dollarama, dollar store. And I basically let them do their thing until the babies are ready to come out after a few weeks. I have to say, if you're able to, I always highly recommend breeding rats. I don't know if I would have the amount of snakes I do if I didn't breed my own rats. I've gone through a couple years where I just wasn't able to when I was living in an apartment, and it was chaotic. It was I hated having to rely on someone to feed my snakes. And sometimes, I think it's better now. This was quite a few years ago, but sometimes it just was unreliable and my snakes went without eating sometimes. And I didn't like it. It was very stressful. And I like to have my rats up to a certain standard. My rats get fresh fruit and vegetable scraps every week. I just really like to know what they're being fed, how they're being cared for, how clean they are, and I really think that makes a difference when you feed them to your snakes. So again, if you have the opportunity, if you have the ability, I definitely recommend breeding your own rats. And if you don't, that's fine. There's really amazing suppliers out there. Locally, I have to say Peter Williams. He's in southwestern Ontario. I definitely recommend him. I know there's a Michael Graham as well in London. Not sure if he's still taking new orders, but also someone else I recommend. He has helped me whenever I have questions. So he's a pretty good dude too. Now over here is a CB70 rack. I really like this rack. I just made it not too long ago. I figured I needed something a little bit bigger to hold my grow-outs and my weans for when I'm going to feed them. So these are all my future female breeders that I grow out in here. And down here is when I keep my weans. They're all empty right now because I am feeding, so they're all, you know, having fun with the snakes right now, I guess. I suppose. Some prego girls getting ready to give birth. Hey. Also, something I learned from, actually it was Mike Graham out of London. When I made this rack, I made sure to have one extra nipple out here. So when, not if, when there's an escapee, because it's bound to happen, they won't chew up your lines. I've had that happen once before where I've had an escapee and they chewed my water line because, you know, they're thirsty. They need to get that water, and absolutely destroyed a lot. So it was definitely a good idea. So if there's ever an escapee, they can get fresh food and water until they're caught. But yeah, that's the room. This feeds my entire collection. I even sometimes have extra I can sell. Costs me about, I'd say, $300 a month to feed all these guys, and for the bedding as well. I have about 100 snakes in my collection, so average maybe 100 babies per year right now, and it does the job. So really, it's not, to me, I think this is pretty manageable. Not bad at all. So there we have it. There's the rodent room. Let me know what you guys think. If you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer. Thanks so much for watching, guys. See you later.